So drop D, what is drop D? It's the E string, drop down one full step to a D. And this is one you've heard many times before. I use it a lot, actually, both in electric and acoustic. But I wanted to show you, I was just jamming there, and I wanted to show you some things you can like we talk about blues you can use. I've done a couple of courses on that. And sometimes what I would like to do is I'll just freeform it, and then I'll just try and tell you what I'm doing. So I was playing kind of a blues thing. So I was working off of a minor blues. And as you know by now, if you know me, I don't think a lot about scales, even though I use them. I mostly use chord tones and shapes when I'm playing, especially if I'm trying to be spontaneous and just kind of go for it. In this case, I'm working off of a basic D here, but I'm not going for that F sharp major chord. You can, but I'm not committing to that often. I'm just. So I got my first finger here on the second fret of the G, and then my second finger on the D note, which is the 3 on the B string. And the reason I don't commit to that third is I don't want to get a major feel. I want to keep it in a minor feel. So what you can do is move up to the 5th fret, and you've heard this a lot. And by moving that same form, that form right there, that D, just move it up to here, 5th fret, and you get this sort of sound, which we've all heard that a lot, right? And what you're doing is you got an open E string, and I'm working off of a D, and then up to this is actually an F shape. You can get a lot of mileage out of that. And back up. Sometimes I'll pick up that C note, which is the 8th fret of the high E. That also works. And back and forth. So just by going back and forth there, you can go from this D shape to here, and then you can work off of which is a D minor shape, minor pentatonic. So that's what I see when I look at a D here and I think of a D minor here, or even up here. I'm just working off the various shapes of the D chord. So, but more importantly, even just going from here to here, you can get a lot of mileage out of it. And I'm bending that D. That's a good one. Just that alone will get that train sound. Ha ha. And then come up to the 5th fret. And you might want to walk a C down. Pretty cool sound, eh? So I just wanted to illustrate one of the many things that can be done with a drop D. Now, I'll often use that drop D, and depending on what key I'm in, I picked this up from some of the old blues guys. I'll capo up like I do a song and say if I want to go all the way up here, maybe even 3rd fret, right? Now this is a song that I've been hounding my partner Jason to learn verbatim. And he's a guy, he's like herding kittens trying to get him to play a song all the way through, but he's doing it. And in this case, I don't know about you, but I can't sing it in the key that Stevie Winwood does it. He does it in D, and it's just like, I can't do it, I can't get there. My partner Dan can, I don't know how, but he's able to get there. So I use a capo on that, but I still have that drop D. That's what I'm trying to show you here. So, come down off your throne. I can do that. Leave your body alone. Here's that drop D. See? Somebody holds the key. Pretty cool. So I think a drop D tuning which is, you know, there's lots of ways to do it. You can also drop the high E down to D, and it's going to have a whole different sound. And if you some people call that double D. And now this is going to give you a different sound. So if you get now it's more of a modal sound. You don't have the luxury of that high E there, so you don't get that Neil Young. You don't get that. But you do get kind of almost Led Zeppelin. You get that Celtic folk sound that Led Zeppelin really capitalized on in their earlier stuff. And you also get, if you go to a D7th form here, which I've used, that's a really cool sound. All it is a partial of a D7 that looks like this. So you get your first finger on the first fret of the B, second finger on the second fret of the G, but check this out. Open that B up and then back to D. Great sound. Here we go. Now open that B up. Lo and behold, you've got a song that I wrote called Six String Man. I'm a six-string man, that's what I am. See, walk down, just a rebel soul, born to rock and roll. One more, one last stand, I ain't a six-string man. So that's some of the many ways you can use a drop D tuning, and in this case, a double drop D, which again, it gives you a totally different sound again. And it's more kind of, you can keep that same shape. I'm not moving these fingers at all. I'm just, now watch what happens when I move up and down the neck. Almost have a whole song just right there. So I encourage you to, do your own time exploring this. But just by moving the two high E's down to D, it's really fun, and it doesn't take a lot of, gyrating to get that tuning going, and it doesn't hamper you in any way of what you're doing in the other four strings are the same. So you don't have to go too crazy with the tuning. So we're going to go deeper into that in some of my future lessons and little meanderings. But every once in a while, I like to, it's the end of a session we're doing here, and my buddy Jason and Austin here, newest member of our crew, who we're having a ball with. We like to just try something and just wing it and see what happens. So that's my take on double D, drop D tuning, Led Zeppelin style, Jimmy Dillon style. See you down the road.